What's up, you guys? Chris here, aka Darkstar, and today I wanted to do a video on how you can craft your own ghillie suit. Now, we all know what a ghillie suit is. It's a concealment system to help you blend in with your environment and get the upper hand on the opponent. So without trying to make this video too long, let's just get right into it. Alright, you guys, I think I'm going to start off with just showing you my suit and some of the things that I did, and hopefully that'll give you some ideas, some inspiration on how you might want to craft yours. And then a little bit later, I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. So let me show you the bottoms first. All right, so these are the pants here. As you can see, they're connected by suspenders. Now I did that because with suspenders, you can crank it up and down to fit your body better and keep the jute at the bottom of where the ankle is from you stepping on it as you're walking around. So this is really handy. It just clips right onto the waistband. All right, and also as you can see, I put jute around the thighs and the ankles. I put it around the ankles so it can cover your boot up. And as you can see, the reason why I just put it around the thighs is I wanted to have more of a free range of motion. I didn't really want to have a straight up, you know, looking like a mop running around, because those guys are pretty easy to spot. So like I said, I just put it around here so I can keep the groin area open. Plus you still get a lot of that nice, you know, leaf action when it's blowing. And plus, like I said, you get less friction. It actually keeps the weight down a little bit more. And so, yeah, these right here are actually really, really lightweight. And I got them extremely cheap. Guys, you don't need to go to Cabela's and spend 80 to 100 bucks on a leaf suit for your base. I actually got this on an app called Poshmark for like $15. So it started off nice and cheap, you know. Now it did get a little bit pricier as I went on, but that's really up to you guys and how far you want to take it. So those are the bottoms. And let me show you the top here. All right, so this is the jacket, guys. And as you can see, I did kind of the same thing with the jacket. I only put the jute in certain areas. You see, basically what you really want to do is you want to break up your silhouette. You want to break up your head and shoulders. That's the most important part. And I found that the jute, although I was kind of turned off at first because I've seen most people now are just doing straight leaves, I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a hybrid of that. So here's the hood. It gives you complete face for protection, or, you know, concealment. And here's the shoulders and the arms. And like I said, once again, I didn't want to be bushed out too much. I wanted to have that free range of motion. Keep it lighter, keep it more breathable. So I put it just on the top part of the shoulders and the arms. The bottom, as you can see, is nice and light, and just nothing on there. Chest, nothing on there either, because, you know, if you're wearing your rigging, you don't want it getting snagged up in all that jute. I put a little bit on there, but mostly just the head and shoulders. And as you can see, I got a lot of extras on there, some leaves to really try to make it 3D. And let me show you exactly how I attached all this stuff and, you know, how I did it. Actually, before I do that, I wanted to show the face mask. So here's the face mask, and it is just simply a Airsoft face protection, the mesh one. And what's great about this is you can tie on all your foliage through this. You know, you just basically weave it through your leaf, tie it off on the back, you're good to go. I used hemp cord on pretty much everything, and I'll show you in a minute why that's so important. So here's the face protection. And once you have that face protection on and the hood over the top of you, I mean, you have 90% concealment. Just your hands and you know, your eyes, and that's really about it. Your boots are covered up. So here's the face protection. Now I keep that hood out of my eyes with just a simple boonie cap. When you put that on, it rests nice right around the brim here. And that's how you keep it out of your eyes. And all right, yes, now I'm going to show you something a little bit special that I made. Now, not everybody has to make this, or, you know, but if you got time and you got the patience, go ahead and get crazy with it. I'm going to show you my rigging. All right, so here's a custom little rig job that I made up from a Condor or a Blackhawk, I'm not sure, chest rig. And as you can see, I wove in and out all sorts of foliage, some raffia, and So you got some ferns on the back here, lots of pine needles. And let me tell you a little bit about what this is. This right here was a custom Molly system that I made that you could attach to the top back part. And basically what this is this is wicker wrapped, it's wire wrapped in wicker. And what that allows us to do is be able to bend and move if you're trying to go through, you know, shrubs and stuff so it doesn't break off. It's surprisingly pliable. You know, you can bend it up and around, bend it back down this way. I mean, it's really cool. I thought it just gave it that extra three-dimensional look, a little bit more of that pop. And when you have it on, I mean, this thing casts its own shadow. I mean, you're completely concealed, especially from the back. So I also wanted to attach some strings and stuff so you could actually rig up more jute or anything else that you want to put on back. And also, there's perfectly enough space that I actually made it so you can wear a hydration pack in the middle of it. And these pretty much completely cover that up. So let me show you a little demonstration of what it looks like when it's on. Now this is my little summer configuration. And so you just slip it on over your back like this. Put it on. Snap it up. It's that simple, guys. Now, what is special about this isn't just how nice you will blend in and the concealment this gives you, but it's unique, you know, when no one's going to actually see you when you're completely covered in a bush. Also, what's great about this webbing is, like I said, you can run your hydration pack through it, and you can keep all your mags on you, whether those are sniper mags or, you know, AR, which is what I run. Let me show you some of that action. Now this is all a little bit tight on me because it's February in upstate New York and it's absolutely freezing. So basically, you got the hook and loop here, so you can keep your mags right on you. All right, well, you get the point. You can have your mags stacked alongside of you. So I thought this was pretty neat. Like I said, this isn't necessary for everybody, but if you want to hear more about how I did it, maybe I can leave a description in the link below. I'm mostly going to focus on this suit. So yeah, I thought it was pretty nice, pretty cool. Now this suit is actually sold. So I wanted to have some summertime gameplay footage with it, with some run cam action, but unfortunately it's on its way to California, and so I won't be able to show any of that footage of how effective it actually is. So I think this was pretty cool. All right, let me show you exactly how I attach things to the suit. All right, guys. So when you're ready to go, your workstation might look a little bit like this. And I will tell you what it is, what it's for, and how you do it. All right, you guys, now that we're all set up here, I want to talk about some of the most important things first. First off, get yourself a good X-Acto blade. I use this for everything. This one's really clutch. Next off, sharp pair of scissors. A good glue. You need a good glue. This one is Gorilla Glue Clear Grip, and it seems to stick really well to fabrics. Needles and thread. Get yourself a thick gauge thread though. Next off, one of the most important ones is this netting. Now this netting came with the Ghillie Suit kit, and it is basically what you tie everything to. So this is like your chassis that goes on there, and I'll show you how I did it. All right, now we got some, this one is the most important, I think. Some hemp cord. It's strong, it's durable, and when you want to change to the different seasons, you can just snip it right off and tie something else on. All right, let's talk about a little bit of foliage first, or second. So first off, we got some plastic ferns. Then we got some pine. This stuff's really great because it's wires. It's all got wire in it, and so if you want to really get that three-dimensional look, you can just apply it to your suit, bend it up, and it just stays out, gives you that nice pop. Plus, you get a big old bag of them for a few dollars. Guys, all this stuff is super cheap. You know, these are just like really cheap Chinese silk leaves. Got some fall colors here. But what's wonderful about these things is because it's got the wire through it. Now this right here, you can just stick it in your suit, bend it around it, and that works that way. Or I use zip ties. You just I cut this off because it is a little sharp, and I apply it with a zip tie. Now, speaking of zip ties, these are also really important. This right here will allow you to put some heavy stuff on your suit. I mean, you want to keep it light, but you know what I mean, stuff like this. All right, if you can get them in a thinner, smaller, then that's actually better. I don't have any right now because I use it all in the suit. Next off, we got some ivy. This stuff is really prevalent around the country, especially in the Northeast. This is kind of my summer application. It works really well. I'll show you how to weave that in. What else we got? The jute here. So we got some grays, some light greens, some dark greens, some browns. Now, this stuff was a little bit pricey. I had to buy a kit, which was about $40, but you get about a 30-pound bag of it. So, yeah, it's kind of a trade-off. I guess they probably thought that you'd be making one of those Wookiee suits. But like I said, those guys are easy to spot. It's heavy. It's not breathable. You don't want to do that. Also, this is, I don't know if this is hemp cord or what this is, but, you know, you use to tie off newspapers. This stuff is pretty awesome. I'll show you why. All right. Some netting. Now, this stuff's great, too. If you could find darker colors, browns, dark greens, light green I use for spring and summer, it's really great. I'll show you how to use this as well, and it really adds some depth to your suit. Now this one's a game changer. We got some raffia here. Now this stuff, for some reason, it just puts the icing on the cake. In the fall, it just works so well blending you into grass and stuff. You know, it just adds that depth, that contrast of colors on your suit. It's just wonderful. And I think one of the last things is real foliage. Guys, don't be afraid to use real foliage. I mean, really what you're going to want to do before you go to your game, before you start your game, look around your environment, find things that are prevalent in that area and attach them to your suit. And I'll show you how you can attach them to your suit. I also use leaves that are obviously dried a little bit, but if you can get them wet, when they're still wet, go ahead and put them on your suit. You'd be surprised how well they last. Sure, they will crack and break off a little bit, but you'd be surprised. All right, what didn't I say here? All right, I think that's about it. Let me show you how you can craft your suit using all of these things. All right, guys, now the moment you've been waiting for. I'm going to show you exactly how I got this tied on there. Sorry if the camera shakes. I have it rigged up pretty crazy. So the first thing I did was I took drawstring from a hoodie, you know, like lace, and I made anchors going all the way down each arm, around the hood, up and around the hood. And from there, that's how I was going to attach my netting. I don't know if you could see this, but here's the netting all in here. But what I wanted to do is I didn't want to cover up the leaves from being able to flap in the breeze. So what I did was, where's the netting? I cut this netting in rows, probably around, I don't know, 3" by 8". And I lined it down each one of these rows that's in between the leaves, the natural leaf stitch. So I did that all the way down this arm. So I probably have 5 on this side and just left the bottom open. As you can see, some right here, you know. So that's how I did it. I used this lace here and here, and I basically glued it, zip tied it, and stitched it pretty much both end to end where it attaches to the suit. I stitched it and then zip tied it in there. Now, if you have one of those ghillie suit bases that is basically netting or, you know what I mean, not straight fabric, but netting, mesh, breathable mesh, then it's easier to zip tie on there or attach with hemp cord or whatever. And so that's how I started, by anchoring it with these laces here and then running the grid pattern in between each one of those. Now let me try to find some real estate here. And first off, I'm going to start by showing you guys how to attach the jute. So as you can see, here's my jute. Now, you're really only going to want to have 4, maybe 5 strands, and you'll see why in a minute. This stuff can come undone, and it will bush out, and it'll be very difficult to tie back on. So you take your jute, make it even like this. If you want it to be lighter up on top and darker down between, go, 3 green and 1 brown. So take your netting here, pull it up, give it a twist, run it through like that. Now you got it through like that, and just tie it off. Now this stuff works pretty good when it's tied. I really don't ever double knot that. Now you can leave it up like this, but what I usually do is I cut this top. Sorry that my arm's going to be in the way pretty much all the time. And what I like to do is shorten this up a little bit, trim that down. Now eventually this stuff will bush out. And now, as you can see, how hard this actually is. If you got the time and the patience, go for it. But I had to cover probably an area of maybe 3 by 4 by tying 4 strands down each grid. So that's how you do that. And as you can see, it takes a long time, but once it gets worn in a little bit, it gets nice and bushy, and it's beautiful. All right, next let me show you how to do a leaf. Now this one's pretty neat. I'm gonna show you exactly what you gotta do to get some depth in an actual leafy look. What you do is you take your X-Acto blade, right? And you're gonna wanna cut 3 cuts in it. You want one here, up a little bit higher in the middle, and then one on this side too. 45-degree angle on the sides. So what I do is I cut one here. I hope you guys can see this. Cut it like that. Cut one in the middle. And then cut one here at the 45-degree angle. Then what you do is you take your hemp cord and you run it through those three slices. Now what I do is I start through the back, come up through the middle. Where is that? Come up through the middle, and then go back out through the back. Okay. Sorry if my hands are all nasty. It's winter time, and I work with my hands. So now you got it looking like this, a little bit of a horseshoe look weaving in and out of it. Now find yourself some real estate. Let's do it right about here. Run your hemp down between your netting, and then just simply tie it off. Now what the cool part is as you cinch it up, I don't know if you can see that, you get a very nice little crumpled look to it. And tie it, and I'll use double it. Right. Tie that off. See, now you got that nice little crumpled look. And I think it gives it a nice touch. Snip your hemp. I know my hands are in the way, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's how you do a leaf. And as you can see, I did it all up and down the suit. You got a couple here. And this one's actually neat. I'll show you how to do this too. It's on a zip tie. So it actually gives more of a 3-dimensional look, like sticks coming off your body. But essentially what happens is you do it in the same fashion. You cut a slant here, up the middle, and down the other side as well. And in that case, you run the zip tie up through the middle. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. All right, so you got a leaf on there. Like I said, it gives it a nice crumpled look. Got some jute. I mean, I tell you, that's the hardest part, man. Sitting there and taking an hour a day and just tying the grid off with jute. 4 strands, 4 strands, 4 strands. It's a pain in the butt. Next up, I'm just going to reach for what I got here. Here's that newspaper twine I was telling you about. Now, let me see. The one that I did the suit with was thicker. But let me see if I can get that same effect. Once again, you go to your grid, or whatever you use to anchor on your suit, whether it is just laces or whatever you can do to anchor it. Or if you just want to, punch little holes in it. Like I said, if you have the mesh ones, you can just tie it off with hemp cord. Anyway, so I tied this off. And what you do is, to get it nice and frayed, you go against the natural weave. So you just unweave it like this with your fingers. And this thing just starts to fray out and get nice and yeah, just look at that. I don't know how well you can see that on there, but it really starts to get this nice bushy thing going on. All right, next up, let's do one of these little fall paper leaves. Like I said, this suit is actually sold, so I do have to cut this stuff off because he bought it as is. All right, so here's a little fall leaf. We can do that. Basically the same technique, except you just want to do one. Now these guys are like paper, plastic paper type deal, so it's not easy without breaking it, but for some reason they never really fall off my suit. Okay, here's a problem. I don't have any more hemp. Let me see if I can't use. Okay, well I don't have any more hemp, so basically the same idea. You just want to run it through this little hole you made, run it back under the netting or the lacer or the mesh, whatever you got, and tie it off with the hemp cord, and then it'll sit up. Here's an example up here. Here's one right there. All right, let me show you guys how to do something a little bit bigger. All right, here's some of the pine, and I will show you an example of how that's on. See, you got some right here. Just bend it up, you know, get that 3D. It does get a little caught in that jute, but it's still good. So there's that. So let me just show you how I do it. And I'm going to show you by doing zip tie. All right, so once again, see, I would suggest if you do it my way with the lace anchoring and stuff, anchor it to that. This right here, you know, it could get pulled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this zip tie up underneath this lace here. All right. And like I said, this lace is on there very, 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 very strong. It's been zip tied, it's been sewn, it's, you know, glued on. So then basically you just want to make yourself a little zipped hole, right? Run it through like this. Or let's run it through like this. Make it look more natural. And zip it on down, right? And then what you can do is, see, it's better when it's the jute covering because you can't see the end, but you could always snip that off too. Then you can just bend it, you know, get you that 3D look. All right, I'm running out of real estate here. Let's see if I can't cut that off. Oh, it's on pretty tight. I'll get it later. All right. Now we'll do Raffy. It's all basically the same idea, guys. Just find some real estate here. Run it up through. Give it a tie. You know, and it does its thing, and it looks great. Let me show you how to do... let me show you the zip tie trick. Now, I just used the one I was going to use. Let me find one. All right. See, this is kind of a neat trick, guys. This is how you get really crazy with the 3D. Sorry, the camera's bending all over the place. I don't have a proper stand for it. So take your zip tie, right? And find a spot that you want to anchor it to. Run it up through. Like that. Oh, I should have used the lace like I said, because then it would stay up. But this is just an example. Then what I do is I take scissors and I cut down the middle, if I can. It's gonna be tough. Let me cut it down a little bit. Take some scissors. Come here, you bastard. Cut it down the middle. Be very careful when you're doing this, obviously. Down the middle. I know, guys, my hands are all chewed up. Gotta make my money somehow. All right, so now you got this little fork in the road. Give it a little stretch out, you know. All right. Then take one of your leaves here. I got this nice brown leaf. And we'll do the same thing. We'll put some cuts in it. All right. And then I think this one's already got a middle cut. Then what you do is run it through this side, run it through the middle, and then run it back through here. Come here. All right, so now you get this kind of neat little leafy look. I could have did a better job on that. Actually, you're gonna want to run that through the back. All right, now this video is gonna get long. Anyway, you get the idea. And then what you do is you take some glue. Of course, this glue is probably frozen shut, which it is. And you just dab it. You know what I mean? You dab it on that spot. You can spread it out, dab it on the other spot too. And now you've got little branches that come off. If you want to spray your zip ties first to make them brown, that's cool, or green. But yeah, here's kind of an example up here, you know, and back here on the hat, you know what I mean? And when you're doing your thing, it works pretty well. All right, last but not least, what else do we got here? Oh, let me show you how to tie this net off. This one's really cool. Oop, 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 oop. Take it easy. All right, now it looks like I just got a bunch of crap on here. Let's see if I can't get through this. Yeah, saying these big zip ties are no bueno. Okay, and so now you have this little net. You cut yourself off a little piece, right? Get through the net. Take it, just tie it up in a knot. Just do it one time there. Give it a snip. Now what you do is fray it out a little bit. It gives us this nice little ribbon look to it. And when you get enough of that on there, it starts to add depth and color. And it works really well in the summertime. All right, what else we got? Oh, let me show you this ivy here. So this is neat. See, I got a rubber band on there. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. You could basically tie on your rubber bands too, and this is what you can use to put on real foliage. You know, you can pull it up through, twist it off, come back down. Now you got real ferns on there instead of fake ferns. And basically when you attach these ferns, it's the same thing as how you did this, you know what I mean? Or you can take the wire and run it back down through there if I can get it in there. Which I can't because it's on real tight, but you get the idea. Anyway, these are just some tricks and techniques that I used. So now, like I said, you have your grid. The grid pattern is really where it's at. You could take your ivy and all you do is weave it through. Now this is kind of a pain in the butt, but once you get that effect, it's pretty nice. Just anchor it off there. You can also just, what I also do is I snip one side or the other like that. So you have these two little pieces sticking off, and I put them between here. So both those two little pieces sticking off are on each side of that. And I put a little dollop of glue right down, and it stays on there perfectly. And like I said, you can always pull it off. Anyway, you get the idea. You can run it through your grid pattern, you know, and, you know, just start weaving it through, and you start to really get some good brush look on your suit. All right, guys, so here's just a few little tricks I wanted to show you, just in case some of you have no idea what you're doing. This is how I made mine. There's the shoulders. You know, like I said, you got a little bit of everything. Here's another example of the little leaf branches that I made, you know, sticking out. The hood. Right, there we go. We got some good examples of that back on there. You know, another one right up there. Got one sticking out here. You know what I mean? A little bit of that effect with the netting on there. And as you can see by all the foliage sticking off this, it took me a very, very long time. So here's the lace and the hood and the netting. It took me a very, very long time. But like I said, when you finish it, it's very rewarding. And then when you get out there and start tearing up squads, it ends up being very, very worth it. All right, so that's just a few things you do to attach stuff to your suit. All right, I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, DS, you didn't show us how to make a rifle wrap. Well, I got you covered right here. So basically for this rifle wrap, what I did was I took some of that ivy cord and using the same tricks and techniques I tied on foliage, and it's basically held on here by rubber bands. Not bad, right? All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful and gave you some inspiration to craft your own ghillie suits. If you did find it helpful, go ahead and drop an elbow on that like button. And please consider subscribing. If you subscribe, I'll make more videos. I actually do have a video coming up here shortly of an unboxing, and it's pretty sweet, so keep an eye out for that. I also have a pretty booked summer coming up here with some mil-sims and some gameplay footage you guys don't want to miss. So check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.
Like I